What's up, nerds? Hello, friends. I can just pop a beer. Hi. Goes to Canada for a couple of days, comes back with a scraggly beard. Shut up, man. Why does the chair sound like Ronnie? Trained it well. All right. I was drinking the rest of my pink mist. Quit oogling my gun. What's up? Hey! It never auto redirects? Well, you gotta click the thing in the chat. Yeah, you gotta click like go now. Good to see you guys. What's going on? Mr. Ronnie had to take a break. Good for you. Yeah, me too. And I did. We went to Canada, and it was dope, dude. Y'all got the wrong idea about Canada. Canada was awesome. Nice hog shirt. Thank you. It's one of ours. See? I love it. What is that rifle in the corner I've been oogling? Well, there's one over there. Like over here. You can't see that one. That one is a PSAK 103. There's one. Oh, I lost my sound. Hold on. Hold on. We'll just go to the back camera. All right. Pause. So on the left, there's a PSAK 103. On the right, low next to the IPSC and the deck is an old Diamondback that I keep around. Up on the wall, starting from bottom to top, you have a SIG P320 DH3, a Cadex TP9 Elite Combat, well, that technically the AR in the middle there is a Daniel Defense lower with a Geisley Super Duty upper, and then up top you have a Remington 700 sitting in a Cadex chassis. Yeah, that's what all that stuff is. Billy Goats, what? Giggity goo. Let me turn the music back on. This is my jam. How is everybody? How are you guys? Sorry I ranted a little bit in the Funker show today. I'm just kind of tired of the whole, like, premise that, like, you have to be, like, straight down the middle. Nobody is. Nobody is. But your bias when you are trying to cover, analyze, and discuss war doesn't necessarily have to come through in the footage you show. And I feel like doing a job of objectively is different than, you know, providing talking points and stuff like that. I feel like I've never tried to lead you anywhere with anything, you know? Tell me about your crazy holds. Oh, bro. So I hit a shot. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we did. So first of all, my Cadex, I hit successively at a mile, 1600 with the 6.5 Creedmoor, which is hard to do. That's really on the far edge of capabilities for 6.5 Creedmoor at a mile. It can be done, but you got to really have a good rifle. You got to have a good spotter that's calling wind for you. A good load that's consistent, not a whole lot of extreme spread on the load, and a good shooter, right? So it's a harmony of things. People will oftentimes see a shot, like a really far shot, and like, oh my God, you're amazing. They could just be an average shooter that had a great spotter, a great rifle, a great load, and an average shooter. And that's actually kind of how it went, right? Now, I'm not the best shooter in the world. I'm kind of serviceable, right? I'm a good shooter. I can shoot. I shoot my rifle sub half minute, but hitting six consecutively, it was back to back, and then I pulled around, and then wind changed, and then we got back on. So I hit 3 times at a mile with it. That's far for 6.5 Creedmoor, but my furthest shot out there was 2,900 and something. That's like a mile. So a mile is 1,600. We're approaching 2 miles with that, almost. About 300 meters off from 2 miles. You had the best spotter. I had a very good spotter. I had Rob fucking Furlong spotting for me. Somebody was just calling me at 9 o'clock at night. Who's calling me at 9 o'clock at night? Is this one of you guys? Crazy range? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's far. That's far. I've got the... We can watch the footage of the mile, though. Because that's on my Twitter. I don't want to burn... a lot of times I'll give you guys, like, previews, sneak previews of stuff. But I don't want to burn any of the big footage from the rest of the trip because we're still working on the final edit with Rob. Because I did a full hour-long interview with him. We talked about his service. We talked about the setup for his world record that he had. We talked about a lot of stuff in that. A couple videos to watch here. Check this out. Show you the mile with the 6.5. I think my rifle is the only 6.5 Creedmoor that hit at a mile, actually. The wind was getting real weird, and we got lucky with my calls, I think. Where is it? Come on. I'm scrolling way back. I also hit standing at 1,500 meters. That was hard. That was way harder than hitting at a mile. Here you go.
All right, we got, well, it's face wind, though. What do you want to do, Rob? It's like 12 o'clock wind.
We got left to right at the target. What does it got on for wind?
1.2.
Left?
1.2 left, correct.
I keep it.
All right, whenever. Sending.
Just off the tail. I want you to hold center, hard center right edge.
Hard
Just
center
use
right
the tail.
edge.
Send it. Impact, re-engage.
Impact 1 mile.
Got his right
Atta
on the
girl.
Yeah, that's his on the left.
Beautiful.
Re-engage.
I think I dropped this one, though.
Impact.
Nice, Ron.
2. You're going to need more wind. I need another 0.5 right.
You can... So you hear his wind call changing.
Right.
Sending.
Hold on the circle. Yeah, off left edge. Hold center. Hold right. Hard right edge.
Hard right edge.
Yeah.
Sending. Dry.
One more, Ron.
Mag.
So that's actually something interesting. This mag, I was having a big problem with this mag. It wasn't feeding well, so I thought I was actually dry on the mag here, but I need to adjust my chassis by shifting my. This is a very custom chassis. I need to shift the trigger well forward, so I got to break down the rifle. Once I do that, the mag will feed better.
Over the top. Come back left 0.2.
Left 0.2.
Yeah, and I want you to hold the neck. Not in about 6 inches off right edge.
Heard.
Elevation's good.
Sending.
Send it. Oh.
See me holding it up? See me hold the mag up there?
Oh.
So when I came all the way off the gun to look in to the chamber there, and I noticed as I pushed the bolt forward that it wasn't chambering for me. So I dropped that hand down and had to push up the mag. So I've got to adjust the chassis.
Come down 0.2.
Down 0.2.
Yeah. I know we're...
I want one more.
I don't want to chase it, but we're...
You're left-handed? Yep.
No, hold.
So is Rob.
Holding.
Rob is left-handed. He's a lefty and he fires a righty gun.
Stacked within a couple inches of each other.
8 to 10 inches there. All right, engage.
Sending.
Impact.
There it is. Third.
Re-engaging. Very top edge of the target.
I need you to hold down his bottom right leg.
But that was the last hit we could find. There's Josh. Joshy!
Sending.
I think this is Will right here. There's Funker right there.
Oh. All right, you're good, man. You're heating up your bow.
Nice shooting, dude.
Yep. So getting the chance. So I've hit beyond a mile before. I hit at 1833 with a 375 Swiss P. But getting the chance to do it with a rifle you built is like a different feeling, man. That felt good. It's a whole lot of trust now in your rifle, a whole lot of trust in yourself. I had a great fucking spotter, like the best spotter you could imagine. Rob is a hell of a shooter. We've got some footage that I can't show you. At 750 yards, he fires 9 rounds in 12 seconds, and all of them hit. It was wild to watch him do that. And he's a lefty, and what he was doing is he had his hand on his bolt, and he'd fire and rack, fire, rack, fire, rack. It was just wild to watch. Rob is a hell of a shooter. There is one that I can show you guys, those who haven't seen it yet, though. Here is some of that footage that we're going to have for the main video. Josh and Cyrus, they were kind of leading the production effort while we were out there. Oh my goodness, the footage is amazing that they captured. Check this out. Hold on. This is going to get me a copyright claim, but I don't care. It's going to be great. Look at this. This is Rob.
I'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind.
So we actually had to be in. Does any of this stuff work? Oh yeah. So we actually had to be inserted up here by chopper, because you can't really. The only ways to access this area, there's no roads back there. You either have to take a chopper in, or you can take horses or ATVs. Any of that's fine, right? But we took a chopper in, and the baddest ass chopper. All I've ever ridden on is like Blackhawks and Chinooks, and it was all very basic takeoff, touchdown. We dropped leaflets out of the back of them and stuff. I flew them all around. I flew in them all around Afghanistan, but I've never done anything like what this dude did. This dude had us like nap of the earth, fucking staying next to the mountains and shit. When he came off the mountain, he came off like no, he didn't come off backwards. He came up and just went straight down the cliff. It was wild as shit, dude. And Josh and the team set up GoPros like inside of the chopper and outside of the chopper, and it captured all of this. It's going to be just such an awesome video. Where was that? That's in Alberta, Canada. Oh, I got some messages here. It was awesome. Let's see what else we've got from a footage perspective. I'm going to be talking about, this is a hell of a photo. The photographer that we brought with us was dope. You can even take the most mediocre dude, I'm the most average person you'll ever meet in your life and make them look like a Call of Duty character. So much fun. Where's that one that I'm thinking of here? Oh, the KDX. Actually, 1500. Oh, hey. Will took photos as well. That's my ass. More. There's one that I'm looking for here, though. Oh, that's my rifle. Kind of walking you guys through. Oh, this one. Yeah.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something.
Ronnie, we're using a Vortex Viper PSC Gen 2 5-25. Yes. Yeah, that's my optic. And I've got footage. So again, I really strongly recommend. I post a lot of shit on Twitter, like a lot of stuff. I've started to use Twitter almost as a primary content platform, largely because of all the problems I keep running into on first Facebook when I was streaming back there, but now on YouTube. I don't even think I'm gonna game tonight. I think we're just gonna chat and hang out. And I'm out of beer though. I just drank the last of it. I have bourbon upstairs. It's so far away. I'd have to play me sitting in a bathtub with night vision on to go up there and grab that. But I've started using that as almost a primary, to be honest. To boost his TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok. I did have a TikTok though. I did. I got strikes on TikTok just constantly, but I deleted it, and I only published on the desktop. I never had the app. The app is spying on you. Shot with an iPhone. That shot was, yeah. All the stuff that was done. Like we have drone footage. Oh my god, that footage of Rob on the edge of the cliff there. That was Josh flying his drone. The drone footage that we have is amazing. Here's something I could show you guys. We had the trigger cams out there. So this is only at about 750 meters or so. 712. Check this. Check out this. So these were our targets up there in the mountains, because the area is so remote that you can't put steel out there. So basically what you do is you pick a rock. You pick a rock and then you do your best to hit it. So this is at 712, and what I'm trying to do right now is break this rock.
Very good. You got one more?
I do.
Oh, right on the tip of it, 12 o'clock.
Standing by.
And it's gone.
It's gone.
Good hit, man. That's as good as it gets, Ron. What's that? What was the distance?
712.
712, and I mean that thing's the size of.
So this is actually
Really?
a fun lesson to do here, and I tried doing this on Twitter, but what you can do is you can actually find the target size here, and there's a formula you can use for that, right? So here, let's go to Twitter where I talk about this. So here's your formula. So you take the meters in range, the range in meters, excuse me, multiply that by the size of the target in mils, or you can use yards. So we'll use yards for this since this is America. So at 712, what's that in bald eagle units? Hold on, 712 meters to yards. Where's 712 meters to yards. That's 778.6 yards. So we'll type that into the calculator. 778.6. And then what's the rest of the formula? The size of the target in mils. All right, so check this out. So the target is this little orange rock right here. Each of these subtensions is 0.2 mils. How big would you guys say the orange section of this rock is? I'd say that's like 0.3, 0.4 mils, maybe tops. Right? What do you think? So again, it's this little orange section here. And the distance between these two is 0.2 mils. 0.3, 0.35-ish. We'll go with 0.35. So we take 778 yards, multiply it by 0.35, and we get 272.51. The rest of the equation is we divide that by 27.78. So 272.51 divided by 27.78, 9.8. So the width of that target is 9.8 inches at 712 meters. Now you take the height, and it's probably even smaller in height, right? When I calculated it, it was about 6 inches. So 9 inches wide by 6 inches deep. Math, ouch. Yeah, wow. We learned so much out there. Now, I had a good primer before we headed out there. I went up to Wyoming and Colorado back in May, and I shot with National Association for Gun Rights, and I spectated an extreme long range match. And I got a crash course from KRG in a lot of the long range basics. So how to run my Kestrel, how to develop a solution. That set a good foundation for me. But going up there with Rob was an entirely different environment. We were accounting for angles. We were accounting for so much more in elevation. I think we were shooting at close to 7,000 feet, but the density altitude up there was closer to 8,000. It's wild. Wild stuff. Probably no taller than 1 mil. When I calculate, I think it was like 2 mils that I calculated. Lunkers Rob? No. We went up there with Rob Furlong of Rob Furlong's Marksmanship Academy. Rob Furlong in 2002 hit a shot that beat Carlos Hathcock's record at 2,430 meters. Now the thing to remember, because that record's been broken a couple times. The thing to remember when Rob broke that record, he broke it with a 16 power fixed Leupold optic on a TAC 50. You pissed me last week, but what I'm seeing right now, you did great things. I will piss off 100% of people that follow me at some point. What is that? What's on my shirt? I don't know what that is. Was wondering, Rob's a sniper. Yeah. So he's Canadian Forces. It's funny. He tells a story in the interview. I don't know if it'll make it into the final cut, but he tells a story about when they got redirected to land in Afghanistan back in like 2002. That as Canadians, they all had their like hockey gear, like snowshoes and fucking hockey sticks strapped to their packs and stuff. What's the caliber in the Remington 700? The Remington 700 behind me is 308. Didn't Dallas Alexander shoot 3 kilometers, also Canadian? Yeah, he broke that record later. Yeah. How would you deal with friends who are supporters of your country's enemy? How would you troll them? Would you do something else? I don't know. I mean, I have people that I talk to regularly that support country, that generally are supportive of countries that I consider to be adversaries. Here's the thing. We started attacking people rather than their ideas at some point, right? So instead of sitting down for like a logical discussion, we just started holding people's ideas against them personally. And I don't, because your truth, my truth, his truth, her truth, they could all technically be based on the same nuggets of truth. It's just our perception of those, where we end up after digesting that, because you can ingest information, but then you have to digest that information. So the truth could all be based on the same nuggets of truth. It's just where you end up could be very different, right? So the process for which somebody ends up at what the truth is to them is what interests me the most. You know, most propaganda, I hate that word, but most propaganda is based in truth in some way. It's more effective that way. It's going to resonate more that way. So how people process things and end up at their end state is something that interests me very much. So that's where you start to talk about like the cognitive space. I took the pipeline for me to become, or to do information operations, was about a little over a year long. So there was this course that I did called Influence in Special Operations. And it was funny because we did it on the SEAL compound, on the Buds compound, watching those poor bastards have to run. Like if they had to go from, I'm sitting up there in like khakis and a fucking polo, and we're looking out over the balcony, and it's all the SEALs that are training. If they had to go like 5 feet from where they were, they had to run there. Man, I felt exhausted watching them, and I felt cold watching them when they'd have to get in the water. Because it's like 70 degrees in Coronado, but the water's like 50 or something. The water's freezing. Anyway, I took this course called Influence in Special Operations. I really dove down into the cognitive space and how not only we have leveraged messaging and kind of walked the dog on changing the ideas of people in combat primarily. That's something that interests me very, very much, you know, because again, it's all based off of the same data. It's all based off of the same information. You can take one piece of truth and you can use that truth to support messaging that isn't necessarily even applicable, right? A good example is the Nazis in Ukraine one. This is something that not a lot of people talk about. There are absolutely people in Ukraine that fly Nazi symbology. The same thing applies to many people in Western Russia. But what you don't see is you don't see a lot of people talking about that outside of the circles that know that. The Dagestan terrorists that shot up the concert hall in Russia, the team that got sent after them was flying the Black Sun. I mean, that's the same kind of symbology that people are holding against Ukraine. How people end up at, their truth based on the same information that somebody can end up at a very different truth just interests me very much. The best lies have a hint of truth. Yeah, oh yeah, that makes them more believable, right? So if you can tie your messaging back to a truth, well, I mean, that's true, right? And a lot of Russian messaging is based around, they absolutely have, from a political perspective, their target audience, right? It's based around very conservative values in their most extreme interpretations. Does that make sense? So you'll have things like traditional American or Western values of what the home is, where the man is the man and the woman should be at home with the kids cooking dinner, stuff like that. So a Russian information operations narrative, a theme, is very specifically Ukraine is sending women to fight. So what they are targeting, their target audiences are conservative men that believe that women need to be at home. I'm telling you what just telling you what it is. It's effective, right? Because again, there is a nugget of truth for conservative men in that, right? Old-fashioned conservative men that believe that they are the breadwinner. Do you see what I mean? So the best propaganda is going to be rooted and nested in some level of truth. Truth is subjective because of bias. We do our best to be objective, I believe. In Ukraine and Israel, as I believe in the U.S., I am biased. Likely that they are volunteers. Please say a prayer for our big buddy Murphy, for our English Mastiff that passed from congestive heart failure last Saturday. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Today would have been his 8th birthday. That's tough, dude. So when the missus and I first got married, we lived with my grandma because we were too poor and didn't have our own place. Well, she's a snowbird, or what, a bluebird, whatever, where they migrate to the south. And she was at her little condo that she has down there. So we were living in her place alone, and we were watching their dog. And I had to put her dog down while she was gone. Losing a pet like that has hit me more than losing like a family member. Like, I buried most of my grandparents, uncles, all that stuff. My dad. And from like an emotional reaction perspective, I don't know why that hits different. It just does. Snowbird? Yeah, is it snowbird? Okay. I'll be posting pictures of Murphy and the Furries channel. Hell yeah, please do. Please do. This trip was something else, man. You know, something else. I mean, I've been places and seen mountains, you know. Typically, you just don't have the freedom of movement in a lot of courses to just... like, at one point, I just told Rob, I was like, hey, do you mind if I go shoot off the other side of the mountain? We're going to do some video over there for our partners. Because we have partners that sent gear up there to help us. You know what I mean? You mind if I just go shoot from the other side of the mountain? He was like, yeah, sure. Be safe. So Will and I put, my pack on. My pack weighed about 70 pounds with the rifle stuck in it. Put my pack on, and we scaled down the other side of the mountain. It was sketchy as shit, but we had the freedom of movement to do that. We had to sign something that said, hey, if you fall off the mountain, that's not my problem. It was awesome. Do you hunt? I haven't hunted since I was in high school. I would like to. Yeah, I want to go on a moose hunt. I want to do some, I think we're going to try to do some hog hunting later this year. But when I was young, I hunted white-tailed deer. Squirrel. I ate the squirrel. Yeah, of course, I ate the deer, but I also ate the squirrel. I just haven't in many years. Moose is huge. Yeah, and I don't currently have a platform that I would feel comfortable hunting moose with, to be honest with you. I would probably upgrade to something in the 30 caliber range for that. Something that hits a little harder than 6.5 Creedmoor. I haven't hunted any fowl though. Personally, I did go on hunts, but never personally shot any fowl. We hunted while we were out there though. We shot more ground squirrels, more gophers than anything else. More gophers than any targets. Because there were 2 locations. It wasn't just the Rockies. We also shot at a place called, at another location. I don't know what I can and should share right now. We shot at another location, and that place was just absolutely infested with gophers. Will went on like this murderous rampage at one point and probably depopulated that place of multiple percentage points of their gophers. I mean, I shot a bunch of them. And I know that Will shot a number more than I did. I've got some footage of Josh shooting out of the front of this. We had this little 17 HMR, and I've got footage of Josh and Funker. We were riding in these the side by sides, and the front window folded up. So Josh and Funker were leaning out of the front of it, just popping gophers for about 2 hours one day. It's awesome. Thought you were still out in the mountains. No, we got back on Sunday. I got back late Sunday. But what ends up happening, we're such a small team. My 9 to 5 work at Funker, I'm the only one really that does it, and I manage all of our relationships. There's actually a lot that I have to do for that. It fell behind, so I've been basically working, trying to catch back up until 9, 10 o'clock some nights. And tonight's show stream almost had to get put off because I'm still not caught back up. Not sure if you've been asked before, but what do you think about the IDF going to Lebanon? Because it didn't work out too well for them the first time. A little worried about it myself. I don't know. If you, it depends on how seriously you take Iran, I think, at this point. Because the Lebanon war was a while ago at this point, right? When was that? Oh, bro. Look at this photo from the editor. God, he's so good. This is either... I think this is us taking off. No. Anyway, check this out. The editor's so good, dude. So his name's Cyrus. He's former 75th Ranger. There's one shot that you guys are going to see where he laid under the fucking chopper as it took off. So he's laying down under the chopper. This thing fucking takes off and he's filming it while it goes. Just a gangster of a dude, man. Your Tactical Sport. Thanks for hitting the member button, buddy.
Good night, ladies.
Wrong one.
Outstanding.
Do you know Angry Cops? I've met him a few times. I know Eli and Donut and Batty. I know all of them. I would consider them to be friends. I've interacted probably less with Rich, but I mean, I used to work with Donut every day. We were hosting some of his Donut After Dark videos for a while, so I was helping him with those. And I mean, Donut used to work at Funker, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's like common knowledge or if I'm supposed to say that, but yeah. You'll get the right button one day. Yeah, I'll figure this shit out. We have what you call PAL. What's the PAL? I had a temporary license for my rifle up there. Having you on unsub would be a good episode. I don't know. I mean, unsubs, I don't know what value I would bring to that. I don't know if that's, I'm just being transparent about it. I don't know if that's humility or I don't know what value I would bring to unsub specifically. I'd love to. I like those guys very much. I don't know what would we talk about? Wieners? I don't know. What's up, Paul? I see you, buddy. I got a tinkle. Video games? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Talk about how they suck now, and there's nothing that I'm interested in playing. Silkies? Oh, I could converse about Silkies for days. Times you got tased in tear gas. Yeah, we can talk about that, I guess. No, that's a meme. We have more guns than people in Canada. So that's actually something that I found to be super interesting. So a lot of people think Canada's gun laws are like really, really bad. And I mean, they're not good. But I'm going to be honest. California makes Canada seem like it's free range on whatever the fuck you want with guns. Like we shot a ton of stuff. Rob has licenses for machine guns. Right? Like it's just way different than you guys might think. Yeah, you of course have the stuff that you see online, but I've talked about that kind of shit before too. Social media is meant quite specifically to show you things in their extremes. That's why when people say like, the United States the West is fallen, well, that's because that's what you're seeing on social media. For every one video you can show me of the U.S. military doing something you don't agree with, I could show you 100 other videos of the U.S. military absolutely fucking getting after it. I'm serious. Social media is meant to show you that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Algorithms don't work if it doesn't show you things in the extremes. It's just the way that it's built. Because things in their extremes are going to evoke emotion. That means you're going to watch them longer. You're going to talk about them more. Algorithms are ultimately the cause, the catalyst for some of the biggest problems that we have in especially the United States right now. You could always talk about usage of anti-tank fired, shoulder-fired weapons and their accuracy. I'm going to go take a piss. Fuck you, battle chemist. Hello. Yes, Pontus. Fuck you, battle chemist. I don't want to hear it. I feel like I've redeemed myself for the training shot with the AT4. All right. I hope Will hit some fucking bangers in combat with his AT4 because Josh and I did not. I mean, I didn't fire an AT4 in combat. I've only fired a live round once, and it did not go the way it was supposed to go. But at least, I'm just saying. I hope Will hit some bangers with it. Okay, Alter Ego. I think it goes very differently these days. Just saying, but it does depend on what Iran does. If Israel does go into Lebanon, I don't know, man. A lot of questions like that, like what happens with the Ukraine war at the end of it. I don't know. All I can do is kind of look at things as objectively as I can and come to an objective conclusion. You know what I mean? Just reading through the chat. Is that the AT4 that took out the F-35? It might be, actually. I might have been the one to do that. Because that motherfucker pinged off the top of that thing and it probably landed in like a kindergarten or something. I don't know where it went. But they weren't happy when it happened. Helicopter ride sounds awesome. That was the smallest helicopter I've ever been on. I mean, the smallest, I rode Blackhawks everywhere. I mean, we're still training in Blackhawks. We're going to be doing some insertion training next month with them. But that was awesome. Awesome. How do you like the Ebly stock Gunslinger 2? Saw a fantastic fucking pack. Here, I'm gonna play a video for you. Fantastic fucking pack, dude. Where you at, BB? Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, there it is. All right, we're going to get another copyright claim here. This pack is amazing. No, nobody paid me to say that either. This is my personal shit. Yeah, so the Gunslinger I bought new, and it's got this scabbard back here. My rifle's kind of long. It's got a 26-inch barrel, but it does come with a top that goes on it. So it covers up most of the buttstock, or most of the rear of the chassis. But for like, I don't know. It would probably, if I closed my length of pull adjustment there, it probably would have been perfect. I just left it off. We weren't expecting rain while we were up there. But this bag is amazing, man. Ronnie the Influencer. Well, I'm fucking bad at it, because aren't they supposed to get paid for talking about shit? That's mine. Why paying me to say that? I am not very good at it if that's what I am. Beautiful outdoors, dude. I wish there was, I mean, I have a ton of fucking footage that we could sit here all night and go through. But I wish I could just transport you there. It's a different world. Video look like you are? I mean, it's just Will with my phone, right? So I'll give you the reason that we wanted to do this. So the chassis, KRG is one of our Funker partners, and we told them we'd get some cool footage of their chassis up there just for them. Like, they didn't pay us to do that. Who else? My hearing protection, they're one of our partners, ESP. And then the tripod, 2 Vets tripods. Those are all our partners. None of them paid us to go up there and do that shit. Yeah, we just wanted to do it. Give them some cool footage that they can use so they can tell good stories about good stuff. I'd influence me. Edgy American, thank you for the $2. What do you think of SOE gear? I don't know. What is SOE? Oh, I don't have any experience with them. Yeah. Special operations equipment. Nope. Don't have any experience with them. Seems they should give you money. Oh. I mean, like, personally, I don't care. Listen, you know, that's not really how I've ever done any of this stuff that I've, like, promoted personally. Like, Optimal Human, they're not paying me to talk about their stuff. If you use my code and my link, I make a few dollars on the back end of it. We like to meet with companies, like as Funker, right? We like to meet with companies and talk about what they're trying to do. Because there's so many companies out there that are veteran-owned and U.S. only, USA products, but they're trying to win one over on you. We turn down partnerships all the time. All the time. The one that we did turn down that I think we should have accepted was the auto blow. And I'll never forgive myself for turning that down. Because it would have been very lucrative. You don't know what the auto blow is. I can't help you. Yeah, we just never really approached it that way. You know? You don't care. It's okay. I mean, yeah, $20 is $20. Happy to make $20. We care more about representing good good products and teams, right? So like ESPs, for example, not cheap. Those inner ears, they're made with hearing aid technology that also have the technology that like Swordens have in them, where when a gunshot goes off, it shuts down and then turns back on. You can amplify it. So for hunting, they're awesome. But we're also honest about it. If you're firing big bore, anything over 30 caliber, don't wear those, because you actually receive a lot of sound through the bone behind your ear, right? This is something Rob was talking a lot about. So if you're on 50s or even 338 or 416 Barrett, something like that, you need over ears. Don't wear in ears for that. Business ethics. Buy once, cry once, good gear promotes itself. Yeah. All that's my personal shit. It's like mine. Where I'm learning about the buy once, cry once is actually on the rifle. So my glass. Each time I speak with like a professional long-range shooter, I'm a hobbyist. Each time I speak with a professional long-range shooter, they tell me to avoid the Vortex Vipers. To avoid them. Rob says they don't pass the tall target test. So the tall target test is you basically take your rifle, you fire at a target that has a lot of length, it's tall, and you run your dial up so that your impacts go up and then back down. And if you start to get deviation in your point of impact when you run it up and back down, that means that it's not tracking properly. Rob says it fails. Funker actually tested that today and said it didn't. But I have had problems with the Viper's zero stop. It's an acknowledged problem. And I also have been given the chance to shoot on really good glass. For the value, I still think it's a good optic. But my Cadex was an investment. And I feel like I'm underdoing it on the glass there. What's up, Pew Pew? Missing out and dying by grass cut. Anything new happening with IDF in Lebanon? Here they're going over there next. Yeah, we were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier. They still haven't. I'm noticing more and more footage of them moving equipment. Like they just moved a whole bunch more Iron Dome batteries to the area. I don't know, man. I feel like at this point they're probably going to at some point. What I think the question really needs to be is what are the ramifications of that globally? Right? So again, there's so many people that are like, the things that happen outside the United States don't impact my way of life. They absolutely do. The world's not as big as it once was, where we can play the isolationist game. If we are not engaged on the global scale, then we are behind. Because our adversaries, and you do have adversaries, regardless of what country you're in, you have adversaries. There are people that don't like you, for the fact of not liking you. It's just the way it is. Our adversaries are continuing to do that. They are continuing to play the shadow game, the shell game, the chess match behind the scenes. So the ramifications of Israel going into Lebanon are probably, I can't say this for certain, I can't give you a source, being very much so discussed behind the scenes. Like if you do that, you realize you're going to pull this country in, you're going to pull that country in, which means by extension, you're going to pull this country in and that country in. But what that shakes out to be, I just don't know. What was my furthest shot? 2,970 meters, I think. That's not the furthest shot that was taken. Josh and Will, they were engaging while where was I? I was doing something with Funker. Like we went to another part of the mountain and Funker and I were doing something else. They decided to run the 300 PRC out to 3,500, and they were hitting out at 3,500. But I wasn't on the gun at that time. Does the IDF have the manpower or numbers in Lebanon? I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's another thing I've mentioned. If I don't know, I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert. I just hard to say, man. Night Force Attacker is buy once, sob into a pillow for a fortnight. Yeah. Here's the problem that I have with Night Force. I'm gonna give you some behind the scenes here. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this. I don't really care. I don't have any relationship. So there's a company out there called Charlie Terk, and they make the TACOM Charlies. Let me show you a picture. Video will work. We're gonna talk about Night Force for a second. Yeah. All right. So here is actually the rifle that I hit at 2970 with. So this isn't actually me shooting. There's a couple products in here that are important. So this is Lab Radar. This is the competitor to the Garmin. So Lab Radar just released this. It gives you speeds. This is running a Leopold optic, but here at the front of the Leupold, excuse me, here at the front of that is a TACOM Charlie. What that is a prism that provides a specific amount of additional elevation to your optic. This one was set at 30 mils. So your elevation dial here is going to have a maximum amount that you can turn it, that you can dial up before it stops, and you just you can't angle the gun up anymore. The TACOM Charlie is a prism that adds an additional amount of elevation that you can set your scope to 0, and then it's a math problem. So this one was set at 30 mils. So rather than dialing the optic to the necessary 57 mils of elevation for this shot, we only had to dial the optic to 27 mils because this was set for 30. It's just a prism that science, in a way, adds elevation. Well, they were the first to release this, and they took this to Night Force. Night Force said, that's neat, and then came out with their own sometime later. So they took this to Night Force and presumably in some kind of a partnership, and Night Force was like, that's cool, and then came out with their own, and theirs is the one that you find most often in the precision game right now. So I'm not saying I don't know how much of that is I'm oversimplifying, but if I was picking glass today, I would probably either go for a Leupold Mark V or something from Zeiss. Those would be I would pick one of those two. The preference would be probably the Zeiss. I think Zeiss is so underrated. In fact, I convinced Funker to get a Zeiss so that I didn't have to buy it first, but he loves it. Loves it. Did you hit the target? Yes. Why have the scope? So again, here's a good example. Where can I show you the full video? Hold on. Here's a good example. Scopes just have their limitations on how far you can angle. Because again, all you're doing is changing the angle of the optic and the barrel, right? So as you do this, optic on the top, barrel on the bottom, as you do this, the angle of the barrel and the intersection point is changing, right? You can only change that so much on any optic. My Night Force, my Viper, I can only dial 16 mils of elevation. To hit at 1 mile, I needed, let's see here. At my current elevation, here's how much elevation I need to dial. Pull up the Hornady app. And then I have a video that's going to kind of prove this to you. To hit at 1 mile at my current elevation, which is going to be 1,607-ish meters, something like that. Remember, I can only dial 16 mils. I need 25.5 mils of elevation. Look on the bottom there. Far left. So in order for me to dial far enough, I either need to dial the extent that I can and then use a hold, or use one of these prisms that adds elevation to my optic. That makes sense? Now, I'll show you the full video of hitting at a mile, where I talk about my hold, because if I needed 25.5, I only have 16 on the dial. Show you this. Dropbox. It's in here. On my phone. Oh, God. It's just going to be down in one of these videos. Fuck. Just turn the sound off. Yeah, you could get like scope mounts that add a little bit. Those start to get complicated from a math perspective, right? So the simpler method is to put that prism on there or use holds. So for the shot at a mile with 6.5 Creedmoor and with my glass, I had 15.5 on the dial, I think, and then I was holding the rest of it on my subtensions. So in the reticle. I ran into elevation limitations with an SR25, added a 20 MOA optic mount, which fixed the problem. Optic was a Schmidt and Bender. Yeah. Yeah. What's your position on cleaning barrels after shooting? On my precision rifle, I don't clean the barrel. No, I wipe it down. You know, I might clean off the bolt, but other than that, I don't clean the barrel. I've done that. So I learned that the hard way. There's no chance I'm going to... This is what I'm dealing with. It would be one of these videos. There's no chance I'm going to find that video right now. But I'm describing my hold in the beginning of the mile video. But as far as cleaning barrels, outside of the initial barrel break-in, I've only cleaned that barrel once. And here's the problem that I ran into. When I did that, my groups opened up from about 0.48 minutes to almost 0.8 minutes. And they tightened back up the more rounds I put back through the gun over time. So what ends up happening is as you're firing and as things are building up in the chamber in there, the tolerances are getting tighter. Right now, it's going to have a plateau effect, and eventually it'll get too gummy, and you'll have to clean it out. But the tolerances in it are getting tighter, which is just allowing that precision platform to work that much better. There's kind of like a 50-50 on it. Some people clean it out right away, some people don't. I've got to bounce. See you later, Taylor. My IOR Valator Crusader, I can only dial up like 18 mils, then I have to hold over and have to zoom out. Yeah. So you'll have more hold the further out you zoom. That video of Rob shooting at, I'm gonna leak it. Whatever. I'm gonna leak it. It's just what's gonna happen. This video of Rob banging at, that's not the right, hold on. At 750, he's actually firing at, because we put the scope camera on there, he's actually firing at like 0 zoom on it. And he still bangs all of them out. Check this video out. It's gonna be in here. This is one of my edits. There. I'm going to leak this. It's just going to happen. Don't care. Short form. Yeah. This is gangster.
We got a spotter.
This is Rob.
We got a spotter.
Spotter's up.
Stand by.
Are you recording?
I am.
All right. Fire. Impact.
Listen. Every single one of those was an impact.
Every single one of those was an impact.
Make note, left-handed fucking supremacy here. Left-handed supremacy. So what he did is, I was spotting for him. I have no reason to spot for Rob fucking Furlong. He fired. He made sure that his hold was good. Once he heard impact, he knew that he could just burn that gun as long as he got back on target. He's firing at 754 meters or so there. His mag worked. Yeah, that's a Cadex Kraken. That's a multi-caliber platform. Oh, such an amazing gun. That's a multi-caliber platform. He's currently got it chambered for 6.5 Creedmoor in this video. Devil-handed full auto bolt action. Yeah, that's a gangster video, man. A lot of PWA Commando ARs out there. What's your opinion? I don't even know what that is. My dad's a lefty. Yeah. When I first met Rob, I met him out at SHOT Show last year. And I was telling him, I've been talking here about getting into precision rifle for a long time. I was on my high school's marksmanship team. I've been shooting for a long time, but the discipline behind precision marksmanship or precision rifle is just a level beyond what I've experienced. And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for a left-handed bolt right now. He's like, don't do it. Like, why? Like everybody has told me that I need to be running a left-handed bolt. Like, let me show you something. He picked up a Cadex and he just burned it up. Just sitting there on the SHOT Show floor. We weren't firing live ammunition, but he just burned it up. And I was like, oh, of course. Of course. I felt like a fucking idiot. And I told him on the way up here, I was like, you gotta show me that. I need to watch you do that. Lefties. Having rounds stacked basically on top of each other. So that was something that he reinforced a lot out there. Is one of the goals is, if necessary, to have another round in flight while the first one is, or before the first one hits the target. No need to pull the firing hand off the trigger while running the bolt. Yeah, the only thing that you lose with running the rifle like this is you're stabilizing the gun with your firing hand here rather than stabilizing the rear bag with your support hand, right? So he is having to take extra steps to get his rifle back on target by not really being able to stabilize the gun with his support hand by using the rear bag. This is my rear bag under him, but that's the biggest change here. In order to be able to do this, you just have to be that much better of a shooter. Good night, Shin Affinity. Am I saying that right? I feel like I keep fucking that up. Yeah, so he can't run that rear bag. And if you go back to the video where I'm shooting at a mile, you'll see my firing hand is barely touching the gun. Like, I've got my fingertips on the grip there, and all I'm doing is operating the trigger. The stabilization of the gun is all in the loading the bipod and managing the rear bag. Or in this case, when he's just a badass. He is absolutely that. We didn't even watch the rest of the video.
Every single one of those was an impact. That's not funny. Actually. Alright, that should have been good.
It's going to look a bit rough probably in a scope cam because there's just going to be a lot of...
What caliber is he shooting? That's a 6.5 Creedmoor. But the Cadex Kraken is multi-caliber. So we have another video of him changing the caliber of that. It goes from 6.5 Creedmoor to 300 PRC in about a minute and a half. Right? Takes the barrel off, rechambers it, and it's within a 0.1 MOA. So the biggest concern for everybody is what's that going to do to my zero? It's supposedly guaranteed to not change your zero by any more than 0.1 minutes or 0.1 mils. Yeah, 0.1 mils for a change in POI. What grain is that? That would have been 147 grain. Probably loaded the bipod pretty heavily. Yeah. Yep. Loaded the bipod and then did his best to find a good bag position to really stabilize the gun. But what you don't see is his setup for the shot either. So a lot of people will look at stuff like that and be like, oh, just hold a certain area. Once you find where to hold, you just bang. Rob spent about 5 minutes getting his solution for that, making sure he was going to be on. And that's just a 750 meter shot. That's a chip shot for 6.5 Creedmoor. It's going to bang that. But he spent about 5 minutes running wind, making sure he had good data. Long time. And he knew without a doubt that he was going to hit that first round, but just to confirm, he waited for the impact. Does a 7mm PRC fit a long action? Yeah, that is a long action cartridge, isn't it? But you don't need a Magnum long action. I think you only need a standard long action. Isn't it? Do I have that wrong? I'm happy to be corrected. Let me look. It's a long action. Yeah. Standard long action. Yep. I don't think PRC fit. It's a long action. Yeah, here. But the 300 PRC is gonna need the. Oh, you can't even fucking see that. Hold on. You don't need a Magnum capable long action. That would be like the go between of the 6.5 PRC, which is what Funker was running, and the 300 PRC. I bought one helmet from HHV and now I get endless ads for their ATE helmet. I hope you used my code, bro. Could have saved you some shipping. I got 2 HHV helmets back there. What's up, Swappa? Been a long time, been busy, new office I see. Yeah, man. Yeah, we moved down here, what was that, like February, March? Something like that. But yeah, somebody asked the question not too long ago. They were like, because we shot 300 PRC. That was what I was shooting, the long stuff. Well, we were all shooting. That was the only long action we had up there. And somebody asked, 7mm PRC or 300 PRC. It depends on what you're doing, right? So if you're trying to take game at long distance, take whatever's going to have more energy at distance, which is going to be the 300. But if you're looking for target capability in a long action without stepping all the way into a Magnum long action, go with 7mm PRC. I personally am going to go for a 300 Norma. I have this weird problem, right? So in my brain, and this is so stupid, but in my brain, I have to buy military adopted cartridges or military adopted cartridge chambered rifles. I, for the life of me, can't do something that the military hasn't adopted. The 6.5 has been adopted, and that was actually an exception for me. I didn't know it was until somebody told me that. I was making an exception just because of how good 6.5 Creedmoor is for, what it's capable of. So 300 Norma is one of the newest rounds that's been adopted by the military as a long range cartridge. And that's what I choose. I don't know why my brain works that way. I bought the 7mm Dakota because I didn't think the PRC would fit. When all you do is 1,000 of range, shoot 6.5 Creed, and 308 is all you need. Yeah, well, I mean, we touch out pretty regularly beyond that. The range that I go to close to me, I can go out to about 1,900, like within an hour of me. So I haven't used that part of the range yet, but when I'm supposed to do KRG's, I told him I would, so I should consider it now. I got to do it. I'm supposed to do KRG's extreme long range competition next May. I need to get into a 300 normal before then. That's probably the most common cartridge that I saw, and according to KRG, that they see being used in ELR. So, I mean, I intend to reach out beyond that pretty regularly. There should be plenty of it around. That's where my brain goes. Yeah, there should be plenty of it around. That there are stocks of it somewhere. Not necessarily the, 6.9 Badger 9000 that like only 10 people have stocks of. Like 6mm Dasher. Isn't it it's 6 Dasher, isn't it? Yeah. That's the most popular precision rifle cartridge in the PRC circuit. 6 Dasher. What the fuck is that? When I was up in Wyoming, I was like, what's the most popular ELR round? 300 normal. What's the most popular PRS round? 6 Dasher. I'm sorry? Huh? Fuck's that? Well, apparently it's dope. I want to see it like compared next to something. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this chody looking round. 6 Dasher, 308. It's weird looking, man. Like, look at this, 105 grain hybrid precision match ammunition. I mean, it's moving fast as shit. 2920. My 6.5 Creedmoor comes out of the barrel at like 2720. So another 200 feet per second. .30-06, if it was good enough for great granddad, depends on how far you're shooting. I'd rather have a 308 than 30-06. All chodes. We're probably going to close it down here in a minute or two, guys. But anyway, yeah, that was the trip, folks. And I really do hope that you'll at least just give the video a watch once the edit's all done. I'm not doing the edit on this one. We're going professional with the edit because Rob's story is just such an amazing story, and what he offers up there at RFMA, I don't know that there's anywhere else that offers what he does. One of his points. So this is the humility. From Rob. One of his points was the instruction is no different than any other precision rifle course. You can go to any precision rifle course and you're not going to get, I mean, everybody's going to have their little tips and tricks, but you're not going to get a whole lot of different instruction, right? It's all going to be relatively similar. Here's how you use your Kestrel. Here's how to set up your shot. Here's how to call wind. which they could tell you how to do it 1,000 times, but doing it is just experience. What's different is where he takes you to do it. Flies you onto the top of a fucking mountain. Makes you sound a waiver that says if you fall off this mountain, it's not my problem. Where do we watch? It's not done yet. Not done yet. It's not going to be done for a little while. There's somewhere near a terabyte of footage that the editor, myself, that we all need to go through to basically pull out the important storytelling parts. There's a lot that goes into an edit like this. Like, I mean, this was a full production team that we took up there with us. I had the easy job. I just got the chance to sit and talk with Rob and then shoot. But Josh managed the production team. He does that for Hardhead Veterans. And they captured some amazing fucking footage. Like, seriously, I hope that you guys do take some time to watch this when we do publish it. It'll be on the Funker YouTube, and we'll put it on the Funker Twitter as well. But anyway, I'm done for the night. For a 6mm, the case angle's steep, throat erosion, barrel life must be a problem. I have no idea, dude. I didn't even know what the 6-dasher was. They told me that. I thought they were fucking kidding. Same thing with like the 375 Swiss P. I thought it was a joke. They were very serious about their Swiss P. But I'm going to go eat. I haven't eaten yet. And I will see you guys. I won't see you Tuesday. Actually, I won't see you at all next week. So I'm taking the family on a little vacation. You know, I got to go up into Canada. And even though it was a work trip, you know, it's still kind of the experience of a lifetime. So I'm going to take the family on a small vacation, just kind of a local thing. So I won't see you Tuesday, and I won't see you Friday, because I'm headed on some additional travel Friday. But I do get back from that in time to do a Tuesday stream the following Tuesday, if that makes sense. But anyway, Running Bear, thank you for the 20. Thank you guys all for just continuing to be supportive. Nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect. Just trying to navigate, and as a team, we and me are trying to find where we fit and everything. So one day at a time. Always forward, though. Good night. I love you all.
Good night, ladies.
Go be great.